101 Eastern Time. So we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Heather Slusser. I am the chair of the Sustainable Ag and Natural Resources Committee. And if you guys don't know this, this is the first time this committee is actually meeting for a real plan of work because last year the committee didn't exist. So at this time last year when we did the plan of work meetings, we ended up doing one for sustainable ag and then one for natural resources. And then when the committee met at the beginning of the year, they took the two plans and kind of smushed them together to make a plan of work. So we're kind of excited this year that we'll have a working committee that can help make that plan of work. Before I continue rambling, I want to introduce to you guys the current committee, which we know after MPICs we're going to have some changes, but your current committee. Kate, I don't know if you want to unvideo yourself so people can see you, but Kate Kamler from Missouri is our North Central Region Vice Chair. Casey, where'd you go? Casey, I saw you. There you are. You moved to my upper right corner. All right, so Casey Hauer is from Pennsylvania, and she is our Northeast Regional Vice Chair. Sean was driving earlier, so I don't know if he can take his camera off, but Sean Steed is from Florida and he is our Southern Region Chair. And then Jake Hadfield is from Utah and he is our Western Region Chair. So after MPICs, assuming everybody gets elected in, the new chair of the committee will be Keith Michler, which I don't see Keith on. Okay, but I think you guys probably, if you've been in extension and in NACAA for a while, you probably know who he is because he was our president a couple years ago. Also, we have a new Northeast Region Chair. So Amelia, I did see you on. There you are. So Amelia, I'm going to butcher your last name, so I'm sorry. Magistrali, kind of right?
Magistrally, just the G.
Magistrali, okay, from Connecticut is going to take over as the Northeast Region Chair. So awesome. Real quick, for those of you that are popping in, I just popped it back in the chat, but if you guys could drop your name and state to help me out with attendance, that would be fantastic. The goal for today is to develop a plan of work, some goals, and like things that we want to do moving forward in the coming year. I thought I would start with a recap for those of you that maybe don't know what the committee did this last year. Does that sound okay to everyone? Awesome. Got some head nods. So our goals for last year that we put forward is that we wanted to do a pre-tour at this coming MPIC, and we are doing that. So we are going to be touring the Fraser Experiment Station and Jack's Solar Garden. And Scott just let me know we're up to 19 for the tour, which is phenomenal. So we are super excited about that. Well, at least I am. I am speaking for the whole team, but super excited about that. And then we had put down as a goal that we were going to do quarterly NACAA 365s. Hindsight 2020, that didn't really work out because the NACAA 365s run from October to April, so it's not really possible to do quarterly. And then based on the amount of them that there are in the fight with the other committees to get dates, we were only able to do one. So we had two lined up and we couldn't find a date for the second speaker that worked out for him and with the NACAA 365 schedule. So the topics that we were looking at for the NACAA 365 were virtual fencing, which was the one we had a speaker lined up for and weren't able to get to. Pollinator plantings, pollinators, insect ID, kind of like the good versus the bad. Are we killing bad things or good things? And there is a super seminar on beekeeping. So they're a pollinator. They're not the only pollinator, but trying to kind of mix that in. And our committee really didn't orchestrate that. So the people that are doing it, they orchestrated it, but had submitted it through our committee to be submitted as a super seminar. So we didn't really want to double dip with a NACAA 365. We did do a NACAA 365 on silvopasture 101. And then the last topic that was brought forward was how extension educators can support both no-till and organic farms. And that is one that we as a committee were kind of falling short on trying to find a person that could cover it or a couple people that could cover it. So I don't know where we want to go with that. If people here have topic ideas or not topic speaker ideas for that or but we can, just so you guys know, that's what we had last year. for presentations for AMPIC, each committee was given 12 spots. We had 36 applications as a committee to review, so that was a lot for us. I will say when we were separate committees, Sustainable Ag and Natural Resources, we were probably closer to like the 20-ish applications. Right, like in that range. So 36 applications this year was a lot, but I did hear that a lot of the committees had increased numbers. So maybe it's a location thing, maybe it's because we had a longer period of time to get it done. Maybe more people were aware that they could submit. Maybe membership's up. I don't know. There's a lot of maybes, but I think it's awesome that we had 36 presentation applications to look through. It kept us busy as a committee looking through those. I appreciate you guys for reading all of those. All right. Any questions on what we did last year? Okay, perfect. All right, so moving forward into next year, what do you guys want to do? What are your thoughts?
Is there guidance in the NACAA bylaws or about what the intention of the committee is? I'm new to it. This is my first meeting, so I'm also asking for my own self.
Yeah, so our committee is the Sustainable Ag and Natural Resources. So we focus on anything having to do with sustainable agriculture and natural resources, which is not very helpful, I understand. But um, as far as what we can do as a committee, like normally it's pre-tours, NACAA 365 topics, that type of thing, super seminars. That's generally like where we fall in. So we will, like our main functions as a committee have been in the past to orchestrate a pre-tour. It's not required, we don't have to do it, but it's like if you guys say, hey, do a pre-tour, then we try to fit that. And then we try to have topics or stops within that pre-tour that relate to some form of sustainable agriculture and then natural resources. So like this year, we're working at Fraser's experiment station, kind of identifying the natural resources and the research that is going on at that station. And then we're following that up with a tour of Jack's solar garden. So they have solar panels, but they're also growing crops with those solar panels. So it's kind of like, well, how do these two systems mesh together for that sustainable ag piece, if that helps. And then the NACAA 365 topics, since we're the audience, it's kind of what topic do you as an educator feel that you need more information on? So like at last year's meeting, people were like, I am having clientele talk to me about silvopasture and I don't know a dang thing about it. So can you help me understand this topic better? So that's what we did is we found some individuals that could come in and speak about silvopasture, what it is, and then how to basically make us smarter so that we could answer the questions that we were getting. So I don't know, does that help, Yvette?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I guess, okay, hearing a lot of silence, I'll help. Do you guys think we should continue with a pre-tour? Like, do you want to charge the next committee with doing a pre-tour? It's going to be in Minnesota. Do you think we don't need pre-tours? What are your thoughts? And I do, while you're thinking on that, Mark put a comment in the chat. Perhaps we could address ag inputs, fertilizer, fuel, price fluctuations in sourcing. Also, small farms need a lot more attention from this committee and NACAA in general. Okay. All right. And I would say the focus of this committee is on the educators and how to educate them more so than on the farm clientele. That would be like my job and my role in my county to work with that farm clientele. So just to clarify that, Mark. So we're working on what topics do we need as educators to do our job better. So.
As far as the pre-tour, yeah, I unfortunately won't be able to go to the one at this upcoming meeting based on scheduling conflicts, but um, I like the idea of them, and it's a good opportunity to try to engage with more folks. So it seemed, yeah, definitely open to continuing to do that. Um, and yeah, definitely, yeah, coming from Connecticut, having information for small scale producers is kind of exactly where I sit. So I definitely appreciate that, Mark. So something around like, yeah, maybe with the awareness of price fluctuations, stuff about kind of um, organic fertilizers, maybe soil amendments more broadly, just the different kinds of things. 'Cause, yeah, and I am also constantly trying to pay attention to what folks are doing that kind of sit outside of something I can advise on. Like there are a lot of small scale growers who will like tap into information about natural resources for micronutrients, which I tend to tell people not to worry a ton about micronutrients unless they see a deficiency, but I'm just very aware that they're getting information from places. And I maybe don't agree with everything that is claimed about them, but just like some of that increased awareness about like what are the sources that we actually have a lot of information about versus what are the things, like people are like fermenting stuff and putting it on their plants. And I'm just trying to raise plant safety concern, like and food safety concerns. So that's just kind of picking up on what Mark said.
Yeah, no, I like that. Got it. I have a note on it. Doug, you unmuted.
I was going to say Minnesota does have a lot, has done a lot of work, both the university as well as the number of not-for-profits up there with sustainable agriculture. Uh, so it could be a relatively easy place. University of Minnesota has the Minnesota Institute of Sustainable Agriculture, so they might be a very good resource for a pre-tour.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'll step in here, Heather. Being
Perfect.
from the University of Minnesota, thank you, Doug. Yeah, many of you probably knew Don Wise years ago. He's passed away now, but he has a lot of leftover legend type sustainable agriculture. And Forever Green is a big project in the University of Minnesota system. And they're looking at perennial crops, perennial sunflower. Kernza is a big crop now that we're working with General Foods on marketing cereal and so forth. So there's some opportunities there. I haven't talked to our committee on tours of what's going to be on the general tour circuit, but certainly there's some opportunities for a pre-tour at the University of Minnesota and in St. Paul campus. So there's some opportunities. I'll try and maybe drop in some websites that people can look at.
Perfect. Thanks, Gary. Okay, so I am hearing pre-tour, yes, right? Okay, and then, so I'm writing that down. And then are you guys thinking, so help me clarify, so like the awareness of price fluctuations and like fertilizer inputs and differences, like the floofy science versus the real science on what really works. Sorry, that's Heather term, not politically correct term. But are you thinking NACAA 365? So that would be like a 1 hour Zoom meeting in the middle of the day. Or are you thinking like a longer super seminar type format?
How long is the super seminar and what is what are the restrictions and what the format can be like for a super seminar?
Here, hold on. I'm getting my book because I don't remember. They're like several hours. I guess, Scott, you're on. Brian, you're on. Off the top of your head, how long are super seminars?
Yeah, they're, I think they're on the schedule for at least, I think they're on schedule for 3 hours.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I was just looking. I think that's, I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4.
and those are always at the AMPIC.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the, there usually is space to have 4 or 5 of those if we can fill them. And again, some of that space restrictions at the meeting location dictates that a little bit. These sound like pretty good 365 topics to me from the just being the outside looking in. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the format it's here. And there's like I said, and there's an application process to get a super seminar in the program, which that's not a big deal, but it is something the committee has to do. They have to submit that.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. So do you guys agree? Probably a NACA 365 topic for that? Okay.
I would say that 365 gives us more opportunities for participation and the recording being available than just who can attend the national meeting.
Right. Perfect. We had, so 2 topics from last year, and I noticed Yvette put a comment in the chat. But one of the topics from last year was like how extension educators can support both the no-till and organic farmers. So kind of like bridging that gap with conventional. So Yvette had made a comment that top transition to organic partnership program staff could probably help with that topic. So I don't know, are you guys still interested in that topic? We also had the fenceless fencing or virtual fencing, and we did have a speaker lined up for it. We just weren't able to connect on a date. So, I mean, are those topics you want me to bring forward into this coming year's plan of work? I see some head nods. Okay. Doug, I think you're talking, but I'm not hearing you. Oh, your little guy's up.
Yep.
There you go.
Virtual fencing is currently quite popular here in Illinois, mainly since we're a fenceless row crop area.
If we can only do one topic, because that's what happened this coming years, we were only able to do one. Can you guys list these in order of priority? Do you want me to like, I'm not creating a poll. We'll do a roll of hands. How's that? Okay, virtual fencing, raise your hands. One, two, three. Okay. All right. How do extension educators connect with both the no-till and organic farms? Raise your hand. 2, 3. I got 3. Okay. And then awareness of price fluctuations, soil amendments, and foo-foo dust. Sorry, it changed again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm seeing 4. All right. So that one is going to be, we can put that down as in order of 1 and 2, and then I'm going to make an executive decision if you're okay with it. Since we had a speaker lined up for virtual fencing, I'm going to plop that one in second, and then we'll put the extension educator support of no-till and organics as third. But I'll leave it in there for the ranking so the committee knows that they were tied. Okay, so that it'll be at their discretion next year. So does that sound okay? Perfect.
Heather, can I add a topic that can be ranked 4th because I think we need more information on it?
Yeah.
but I do think it's going to become growing concern on the natural resource side, especially in Utah. We're dealing with this a lot, but the adding infrastructure on like rangeland, private or public, like we're seeing data centers, we're seeing solar farms being put on that land. I think that's going to continue to be a growing trend. I don't know that this next year is the right year, but just like to get it on the list at least. So.
Okay, say that again. So more on like how farmers interact with these new types of things,
Well,
energy, or what are you
yeah, a
saying?
mixture of how it affects the natural resources,
Okay,
public and private, as well as how it'll affect how farmers interact.
okay.
Heather, another topic that our pesticide team is bringing up to our pesticide trainings is invasive, no, well, invasive species certainly, but Endangered Species Act, I guess with the US EPA, I think that's changing, and it sounds like there's going to be a lot of label changes, pesticide labels on endangered species, and that might be an up and coming topic as well.
Perfect. Do you guys want to vote on these? Because they've been added after we voted. Or we could I'll just submit them all to the new committee and they will make their determination. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, Doug says data centers, ag land use. I'll tap that in there. I got solar, wind, but we'll do data centers too. I didn't add that. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So excuse me. Each committee gets $1,000 to use. It can be used towards an NACAA 365. Like if you have an invited speaker, this year or through last year's plan of work, we were told to put it towards the transportation costs, so the pre-tour. So that's what we did to help keep the pre-tour costs low. What are your thoughts? How do you want the committee to use the money? Like for the NACAA 365s, we traditionally haven't had to pay anybody to come in, but I know some committees maybe have. I don't know if they have or not, but it could be a possibility.
Based on what you just said, I think having it go towards offsetting costs of the tour seems reasonable. Because yeah, just thinking about the types of people I would ask to contribute a webinar. Because it's virtual, it's a lot easier to not have to account for speaker time.
Yeah.
They've also used it if there's a speaker that comes in for a super seminar, an outside speaker.
Yeah.
That's I don't think anybody's ever paid anybody to come to a 365, but super seminars, to offset travel expenses or to give a small stipend, something like that. I know that has definitely been done before by committees.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Scott. So, and it doesn't sound like you guys are overly interested in tasking the committee with doing a super seminar. Am I hearing that right? It sounds like we're focusing mostly on the NACAA 365s. You guys are very quiet. Okay. Thanks, Doug. Awesome. All right. So what I have, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to continue doing the pre-tours. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics to submit to next year's committee for a NACAA 365. And they're going to like find speakers now and then get in and like steal all the dates from everybody else so we can do all 5 of them. Okay, I got one smile from the committee members. Okay. And then we're going to use the fee to offset the tour cost. That sound okay? Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, do you guys have questions for the committee, comments, anything like that? I'm going to open it up to you guys. I got my business taken care of.
Can I ask silly questions if no one
Ask
else
away.
is piping up?
Yeah, go
Hi,
ahead.
my name's Ambria Small, and I'm an ag and natural resources educator at The Ohio State University. I'm new this year, and I haven't been to the NACAA conference like at all. Yes, this is my first one. I'm so excited.
Yay! It's a good location to go to.
Yeah, well, I mean, every location is a great location, right? Travel time. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Meet people. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited, and I'm presenting a poster. So yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm getting involved really early, but I guess this is the first committee meeting I've been able to attend. What is helpful for, in your mind, for someone who's new coming in, um, and how they can get involved with maybe specifically this committee?
Well, I don't know, Jake, Kate, Casey, Sean, you guys want to take a stab at it? You've been on the committee.
I'll take a stab at it. I would just say, like, while you're at NACA, get to know a lot of people while you're there. Just don't be afraid to do because they have the first timer events. They have a lot of things and be involved. I mean, honestly, it's my favorite meeting to go to every year. But one of the things is every December, the county agent comes out. And so if you're looking for opportunities to be on committees or anything like that, that's when they announce what is open, as well as being able to have applications turned in to do positions like this or other things besides this. So that's really the best time to be looking. I think it's midway through December, Scott, I think about that time. So
Okay,
maybe so.
I'll be looking around that time then. But yeah, looking forward to meeting you all in person. It'll be fun.
Awesome.
Kate, you'd unmuted. Did you want to add something?
Jake did a good job. I was just going to say the network and going to NACA meetings, and over the years you get to know people, and that network's great, and a great advantage to know. Oh, I know somebody from Ohio who has this expertise. I know somebody from Utah that has this expertise, and it really makes a difference because that's what we're looking for all the time. Okay, I don't know about this topic. Who do I know that does know about it?
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone, go ahead.
Y'all did not tell her the most important thing is that if you join this committee, they will take care of your registration at the next AMPIC coming up. So
That's great to
there's
know.
financial assistance on this. And if you become a vice chair and represent those, as well as if you become a national chair, we take care of everything, transportation, lodging, and your registration. So there are benefits to joining a committee. I think everyone said the same exact theme is network, network, network. I also would not put all my eggs in one basket because some of these vice chair committees are very competitive. With you saying you're green, I will look at maybe one or two or three committees that you might be interested in as well. But definitely, you're doing the right thing. You are attending these workshops and our first one said was today. If you want to attend some more, they're every Friday and listen in on what's happening to these other workshops. Some do awards, some do tours. So, but definitely, you are doing the right thing by listening in and getting involved. But definitely, there is financial assistance if you do join one of these committees,
That's really good to know.
as of today.
I appreciate the comment. That's wonderful. There's not, I've been part of a few societies, and they're not nearly as generous with financing travel expenses and whatnot. So that's great to hear.
I'd also encourage you to maybe look at the state level and I just, while Tyrone was speaking, there is a state chair role for this committee. It does look like because we merged the two committees, I think at the time I got the state chair committee list from Ohio State, they still had someone listed as the natural resources chair and someone listed as a sustainable ag. So right now there are two for Ohio State. I believe it was Eric, I don't know if it's
Riker?
Ricker and Christine Gelly.
Yeah.
So if you can convince one of them to step down, or
I
but
think they might be glad to. That not
yeah,
nothing against you guys.
but anyway,
They agree to that. They're very busy people.
I mean, if you start at the state level, that that gives you an opportunity to promote the sustainable and natural resource programming to your colleagues at
Mhm.
Ohio State. There aren't really any um I don't know, Heather, you'd have to, when it comes to judging the submitted presentations, that's probably just typically handled by the
Committee.
national and the national committee, but it's a way for you to promote it within your state. So that's a good starting point, but you don't have to be a member of your state committee to, submit for a role on the national as well.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just add, because you had asked like what you can do to help the committee specifically. And I think Scott touched on it a little bit. Like we rely heavily on the state chairs. So then like I will email the regional chairs and be like, hey, this is coming up, or think about sending out this email. Like for this meeting today, I was like, hey, this meeting's coming up. Can you email your state chairs? Well, they don't have the contact information. I mean, I guess we probably do, but the way it normally works is the vice chairs will then email the states, and then the state chairs will email out their membership. So there's kind of a breakdown in communication, because if a vice chair isn't doing their job in emailing, then the states never hear about it. And if the state chairs never send on that message, then the membership's never hearing about it. So one way to really get involved and to help out is to share emails, and make sure everybody's getting that communication, and that you're promoting, like this meeting today is vital for this committee, because this sets the tone and the plan for what they're going to do for all next year. So without the input today of what you guys want from us, we won't do anything. Like if you don't tell us to do anything, we have nothing to do. So you guys telling us what topics you want to hear about, if you want us to do super seminars, if you want us to do pre-tours, that gives us marching orders, so to speak. So that's what we really need. We need people on this call telling us what to do, not where to go, but what to do.
Okay.
So,
Good to know.
yeah. So,
Well, thank you all for your input. This was incredibly helpful.
good. Thank you guys. I mean, honestly, I think this is great knowing that we have like 5 topics for next year's committee to take charge on and define speakers for. That's amazing. So if you guys have speaker ideas for any of the topics, if you want to drop them in the chat or shoot me an email afterwards, it's just my name at wisc.edu. You can also find me on the NACAA website, but I'll definitely include that, because in that way it makes it a little easier for the committee if they don't have to like rely only on their networking. But as Kate and Jake said, we've got a huge network, so it's pretty amazing on what we can accomplish just by a couple emails and phone calls like, hey, do you know this person? Do you know somebody that can do this? And it all kind of comes together. So, all right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Jake, Kate, Sean, Casey, anything you guys want to add? Okay. So you guys know, what I will do is I will write up our plan of work. I have to give it to Brian, but what I did last year is I also sent it out to the vice chairs to send to their state chairs to provide any feedback on it before I sent it to Brian. So you'll have another opportunity, like if I misheard you or didn't completely understand or capture what you're looking for. My plan is this afternoon when we get off, I will write this up. I will get it sent out hopefully to the vice chairs before I leave for today, but I am leaving early, so it might be Monday. And then they will forward it on to you for your critique. We'll give you about, I don't know, Brian, when do I owe this to you? I didn't actually pay attention to that.
Your committee report?
Yeah,
Yeah, if I could have that prior to the MPIC, that would be fine.
perfect. We got plenty of
Yeah,
time. So we'll
because
give you like,
there's not a we're not pressed for that just yet.
okay.
I don't have to present that until the board meeting following the MPIC. So
All right. So we'll give you guys like 2 weeks to review it, and then I can make any edits and changes and get that sent off to Brian before his date, and that'd be fantastic. So if that sounds okay with you guys, I'd say we're done for the day. So perfect.
Heather, I do I appreciate the work that all these committees do, and the chairs and vice chairs do a lot. She told you how many presentations that they had to review to get their 12 or so, or however many I told you could have. And so those are hard decisions that had to be made when you're sitting there looking at 30 some odd and you got 12 slots to fill. So I appreciate the committee's work on that, and thank y'all. I'll say that while I got y'all right here. You make my job easier whenever you handle things correctly, and I appreciate your efficiency in getting all that done. But yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody in Denver.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, guys.